This is Module 2, Lesson 5, multiplying using the area model, then multiplying and using the standard algorithm and seeing the connection between the two. So for the first problem, I'm going to set up my rectangle for 23 times 31. I'm going to split it into two boxes. So my first number here of 23, that goes right on the top. And then I look at the number 31 and I split it by its place value. So since I have 1, and then that 3 is worth 30, those are the numbers that I'm going to be using. So I take my 1 and it goes there, and my 30 goes on the bottom. Now I'm going to multiply each of these. So I have 1 times 23. My answer on the outside is 23. And then I have 30 times 23. And in order to solve that, I use my 0 rule. So I cross out my 0 and I do 23 times 3. If I need to do work on the side, I can do 23 times 3. And then I have my 69, so I write 69. And I have to put that 0 back in, so I get 690. Now I'm going to add this all up. And I get 713. And that's how I solve the area model. Now I'm going to use the standard algorithm to show how these two are connected. So first I multiply 1 times 3, and then 1 times 2. And I have that 23, which is just like the 23 that's here. They are connected. Next I start my new row because I'm starting with a new number here. I need my 0 since that's the tens place. I do 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6. And then I can see that these two are connected. I did the same thing. And then I add them up, and I get 713. My two answers match, so most likely I'm correct because they match. And do another example. So now I have 343 times 21. Same thing. I'm going to write the 343 on top. I'm going to split this up to 20 and 1. So here's my 1, and here's my 20. Now I'm going to do 1 times 343 and 20 times 343. Now I'm going to actually multiply them. 1 times 343 is 343. I'm going to cross off my 0 and do 2 times 343. If I need room, and I'm not sure how to do this in my head, I could write it up on the top. And I end up with 686. Then I have to remember to put my 0 back in. Now I add them all together. And I get 7,203. So now I'm going to use the standard algorithm, and I go over here on the side, and I multiply 1 times everything first, and these two match up. Now I'm going to put down my 0, and I'm going to multiply that 2 right here times everything. These two match up. Now I'm going to add them, and my answers match, which usually tells me that I am most likely correct. And now we're seeing the connection between our area model and the standard algorithm. We're going to try one more together, which would be my rectangle. This is 231. This is 2, and this is 30 for the 32. Inside here, I'm going to do 231 times 2, and then 231 times 30. First thing I'm going to do up here to help me is 231 and 2. I can solve some math up here for myself. I get 462. Then I'm going to ignore my 0 and do 231 times 3. I get 693, and I have to put my 0 back in. And now I add it together, and I get 7,392. And then I go and I do my multiplication on the side here to make sure that all matches up. That line matches. I put my 0. That line matches. And when I add, that line matches as well. And that's how I use the area model to solve multiplication, comparing it to the standard algorithm.